guys, welcome back. So today I'm out at the range with a rifle I've wanted ever since I was a kid, but for some strange reason, I've never purchased. This is a rifle that was very iconic as a kid growing up post-Vietnam, and it was in the 80s when I first discovered these rifles. I saw them in pictures from the war and articles written in magazines in that time period, and it is something I'm sure you recognize. This is the GAU-5/A/A, which I'm just going to call the GAU-5 for the sake of brevity in this video. This might be known to you by other names such as the Colt Commando, CAR-15, XM177E2, which is a variation of this rifle. It's not the same rifle, and perhaps other nicknames. This rifle just looks awesome. Probably one of the most iconic features of the gun is this fake, in this case, moderator here on the end of the barrel. This really kind of identifies the gun as the XM177E2 or the CAR-15, or in this case, the GAU-5. Troy Industries was showcasing this rifle at SHOT Show 2016. It really caught my attention because, again, for some reason, I don't know why, but I've never purchased one of these rifles. Now, the clones that people were making when I was a kid really looked kind of a bit off. The moderators that they would use would be longer and kind of goofy looking to meet overall length requirements under the NFA. And, it was never something I actually committed to buying or committed to securing the proper parts to build a really accurate replica. Thankfully, Troy's done all that for me, and the price seems to be right. I only had to pay $1,200 for this. Technically, it's $11.99, and given what you get, it's a really good deal in my opinion, which is why I bought one the minute they became available. So we're going to do a little bit of shooting with this rifle this afternoon, talk about some of its features, what makes it such a really good looking clone, and, just have some fun with it. That's what these things are for, right? Fun. And these things certainly are fun for me. Let's do a little shooting, take a closer look at this new Troy rifle. Let me tell you guys about some of the features of the rifle that make it such an authentic clone, at least in my mind. First of all, the aluminum buttstock. This would be period correct. It's a two-position stock. Again, it's made out of aluminum. You can pop it off just by pushing down on the lever with your thumb and sliding it off the rear, and you can see the two-position holes on the extension tube. Moving forward, we have a A1 style pistol grip, which again is period correct. You'll also notice that it has fencing around the magazine release. It does not have a forward assist. You'll find that on the Troy replica, the XM177E2 down the road. It has standard A1 style sights where the rear sight is adjustable with the tip of a bullet right here on this dial for windage. Moving forward, we have this delta ring here. Now this is the tapered version. I have seen pictures of both GAU-5s with and without the tapered version. They either have the flat one or the tapered. This one has the tapered, so it does appear to be period correct because pictures from the 60s I have seen do show some rifles with that particular delta ring. Here on the handguard, it's a standard Colt Commando style handguard, predecessor to the M4 handguards. The barrel profile, see if I can get this off without cussing here. Getting these handguards off can be a little bit challenging at times. These things are kind of hard to get a hold of. There you can see the barrel profile of the rifle. All right, you can see its gas system. This is a 12.5-inch barrel, which is a little bit longer than the original rifle, but Troy had to make a concession somewhere to be compliant with the goofy NFA laws that should be repealed. So it does have an overall barrel length of 16 inches with the pinned-on muzzle device, which is a replica of the original Colt moderator that was used. This thing had a couple of purposes. First of all, it had baffles inside of it. It was used to keep the gas pressure high in the gas system of the rifle, so it would give it reliable function, but it also functioned as a sound moderator, which reduced the report of the rifle by a couple decibels. Does not mean that the originals were safe to fire without hearing protection. They were quite loud, well outside of the safe hearing range. but because it did muffle the report even by a couple of decibels, which you wouldn't even be able to technically hear, the ATF has determined it, the originals, to be regulated items and classifies them as suppressors. So this one is hollow on the inside. There's nothing inside there. It just goes down to a muzzle, which is right about here. This one also has the grenade launching ring on it, which means you could have put a M203 grenade launcher on this, which would be period correct as well. Some of these did come with the rings, some of them didn't. The earlier models didn't. Again, it's parkerized. We have here on the front sight, it's a standard A1 style front sight, which is kind of a cone, a tapered cone. It doesn't have the squared front sight post of the later A2. Sling swivels and all that good stuff. Inside, now because it has this fake third pinhole right here, inside, Troy has marked the receiver. Let's see if I can get out of my own shadow here. Marked the receiver replica semi-auto, and then has this fence in here to keep you from even using a drop-in auto sear. I'm guessing they went to that extreme, if you will, simply because they had that third pinhole marked on the receiver, so you can't just drill this thing using that as a guide and put illegal parts into the gun. The bolt carrier is a standard AR-15 bolt carrier. It is not an M16 carrier. And yeah, pretty much everything else is pretty much standard. It does have these serrations on the side of the bolt carrier for forward assist, which the gun lacks. Some of the guys that said they carried these rifles on my Instagram account mentioned that their rifles didn't have that, but I've again found pictures of original GAU-5s that do have those serrations. So obviously there are different variations of the gun in production. So there you have it. Those are the features of the gun. It even has this stamp here on the front. And let's go ahead and show you the markings too. I guess that's another thing I forgot to point out. Look at those markings. Oh, that shadow. Sorry guys. So it says property U.S. government. About the only thing that doesn't look correct is a Troy logo, but it's kind of similar because it's round to the original Colt logo that would have been found on the guns. And you know, it says GAU-5/A/A, property U.S. government. Looks really, really good. This, guys, is my lab radar. It's a Doppler radar system. We'll talk more about this unit here in the future, but it's a chronograph, and you can set it up so it can scan for arrows, and it's looking for different velocity settings for arrows, handguns, or rifles. I have it obviously set up today for rifles, and you can ask it to scan at distances from the muzzle out to several hundred feet. So I have it set up telling me what my muzzle velocity is right now. Let's go ahead and wake the thing up here. So with the 12.5-inch barrel of the GAU-5, we're seeing muzzle velocity right around 2,750 to 2,800 feet per second. And with a 20-inch barrel, SP1, we were seeing muzzle velocities just over 3,100 feet per second. And that is using Taiwanese M193 ball, also known as Wolf Gold, which is a 55-grain bullet. So we're losing about 300, 350, right around there, feet per second with the shorter 12.5-inch barrel of the GAU-5. Again, we'll talk more about this lab radar here in the future. It's a really cool system. I think you guys will like it. For my shooting this afternoon, I've been using ZQI M855 ball, which is a 62-grain NATO spec load, courtesy of ZQIammo.com. And I've also been shooting some of this Wolf Gold, which is Taiwanese military spec M193 ball. This is courtesy of Lucky Gunner. Both of these have given me flawless function this afternoon for about 300 rounds so far. Let's take a look at what comes in the box with the rifle. Now, I'll be honest with you, when I first opened the box up, I was really surprised at all the stuff that it came with, especially given the price, which seems so reasonable, $1,200. So you will get the gun, and the first accessory that you'll get is this sling. This sling would be period correct. It would be something that wasn't necessarily issued to the soldiers. This would have been something that they would have probably made themselves. It's a canvas sling that has paracord attachments. The soldiers of the era, the special operations guys, didn't like the slings that were commonly in use, which had metal clasps on them. They felt they made too much noise, so they wanted a silent sling system. That's a tongue twister. A silent sling system. And this is what they came up with. So it seems to be period correct and certainly really neat and you will want to follow the instructions on how to install it on the rifle, because it's a little bit of a brain teaser there. All right, let's set the rifle aside. Here's the box that it shipped in to me. Let's take a look at the little goodie pack. Now, it will come with a cleaning kit. I'm not going to go into the details of that. It's a pretty standard AR-15 cleaning kit. But in this bag is where I found all the goodies. You will get a 30-round magazine. It's an aluminum magazine. And you will also get a 20-round magazine. All right. You will then also find inside, which is, I thought, really cool, is a faithful copy of the original M16A1 user's manual. I'm sorry about that shadow there, guys, for my mic. That was cartoonish, and this would have been issued to the soldiers with their rifles. The stock seems to be pretty good. It's a thicker stock. It's a really cool reproduction of that particular document. I've seen them online, pictures of the actual ones, and it really is cool to see a reprint of it. You'll also get a military type manual for the GAU-5. Again, I'm sorry for that shadow there, guys. And then this is what looks to be an official Army document for what they called the submachine gun 5.56mm XM177E2, which is a variation of the GAU-5 that Troy Industries will actually be producing later, I think, this year and make available. But again, it looks really, really authentic, and it's kind of cool to have. And let's see, what else comes in the bag here? The instructions you're going to want to follow with regards to how to install the sling. That darn shadow is going to drive me nuts today. And then have this little card that talks about the GAU-5. And it says that they've gone to great lengths to maintain the authenticity of this iconic firearm replica. And you'll find a little tag that hangs on the trigger guard, which I think I actually left back at the shop. And then this flyer, which is really kind of important. So $50 of every purchase of the rifle goes to the National League of POW MIA families. So of that $1,200, $50 is going to a very good cause. So that's pretty much everything that comes in the box. I will wind up putting the documentation away in the safe. Again, this I thought was really, really cool. And this I'm going to keep out, and I'll probably wind up shooting quite a bit. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get this rifle sighted in. For that purpose, I'm going to use some of the Wolf Gold ammo. That, again, is courtesy of LuckyGunner.com. Thanks, guys, for helping me out with the ammo. This is M193 ball, 55 grain stuff. This rifle has a 1 12-inch twist in the barrel, which is period correct. So it's probably going to favor the lighter ball ammo. It's not match ammo. This isn't a match rifle. It's not what I bought it for, so I'm not going to go for extremely small groups. What I am interested in, though, is how the rifle will perform at 100, 200, 300, 400, maybe even 500 yards. Next time I go out to the long range, I'm going to take this rifle with me, and I'll see how she does on steel. It'll be a lot of fun. So right now I just want to get it zeroed. All the zeroing functions can be done with the tip of a bullet. The front sight is adjustable for elevation. The rear sight is adjustable for windage. I'm going to go ahead and zero it for 50, which should give me a pretty good zero out to 100 to 300 yards on a man-sized target. All right, we got 20 rounds loaded here. Go ahead and put my ears on. And we'll fire a 5-shot group here really quick and see how it does. Now, the other thing that's kind of interesting is the moderator here on the end is not authentic. If it were authentic, one of the problems with the device was it would cause fouling, copper fouling in the barrel. So you don't have to worry about this with the Troy replica. All right, let's see how close she is. Go ahead and make the weapon safe here really quick. Gotta drop at least one round on the ground every trip to the range. I'm known for that. All right, let's run down range. All right, guys, 50 yards, open sights, M193 ball. Looks like my left to right is kind of good. That was my first shot. I know it didn't break clean. But 4 of the 5 rounds landed right here, which looks a little bit right of center. So I'm going to come over 1 click. But even with that flyer, it's still a 2-inch group. Without that flyer, let's see what I can do again. It's just under 1 inch. So I'm going to try to get this thing zeroed left to right. I may bring it up a click or 2, which should give me a pretty good zero again, out to 200-300 yards. All right, let's try it one more time. Kind of hard to see with the sunglasses on, but again, I'm not going for extreme precision. Let's go down range, take a look. Back down to 50 yards after firing another 5 rounds of the M193 ball, the Wolf Gold stuff, and it looks like it measures just under 1.25 inches on a 5-shot group. Not too bad. Again, I'm firing kind of quickly and using non-match ammo. I'm just trying to get the gun zeroed so I can get it out to the long range and you know, shoot it out to maybe 300 yards or so. Now I might push a little bit further and try my luck, maybe out to 5. I can figure out my holdover, but I'll do the fine tuning when I get it out to the range, long range, for the next couple of weeks, hopefully. We'll see. But anyway, looks like she's good to go and ready to do a lot more shooting in the future. I know you're probably asking yourself 2 questions right now. One is, does it use Glock magazines? And the answer to that question is no. Glock magazines were not in common use during the Vietnam War. Secondly, you're probably asking yourself, how well does it hip fire 80s style? Well, we're going to find out right now, and I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to anger the safety sallies by doing the hip fire across water. Ah, yes. Perfect function. Hip shooting success. I hope you guys enjoyed coming out with me on my first range session with my new GAU-5 AA from Troy Industries. For $1,199, guys, I was really happy to spend the money, especially when I opened up the box and saw all the goodies that came with the rifle. Plus, $50 really does go to a good cause. When they release their XM177E2, I will also be buying one of those and adding it to the collection. Meanwhile, I'm going to get out of here. The mosquitoes are out in full force for the first time this year. They're eating me alive, and I didn't bring mosquito repellent. So I'm going to hop in my Slick, otherwise known as Peaches, and pop smoke, get out of here, and get back to the base. If you guys have any questions, you can ask those questions down below. I stick around for the first couple of days after a video goes live and try to answer those questions you may have. Also, if you would like to support the Military Arms channel, please swing by and check out Copper Custom. It's our online store. It really does help out when you shop there, guys. And if you haven't already, please swing by and check out full30.com. That's full30.com. We've taken all of YouTube's best firearms content creators and brought them under one roof, which is full30.com. Thanks again for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon. Come on, Peaches. Let's get out of here.